Hello everyone, today in this video I am going to deal with the ninth chapter of Footprints Without Feet of class 10th. The title of the story is Bholi, written by K.A. Abbas. This story is about a girl whose name is Sulekha, but she is known by the name Bholi. This girl is totally ignored by her members of her family, while at the same time her teacher finds something special in her and she gives special attention to that child. And by the end of the story, it is seen that the girl was able to meet the expectation of her teacher. Now let's move to the story and let's see what's there in it. Her name was Sulekha, but since her childhood, everyone had been calling her Bholi, the simpleton. She was the fourth daughter of Numbardar Ramlal. When she was 10 months old, she had fallen off the cot on her head and perhaps it had damaged some part of her brain. That was why she remained a backward child and came to be known as Bholi, the simpleton. So we are being introduced to the central character of this story, whose name is Sulekha, but she is known as Bholi. And why she is known as Bholi? Because when she was 10 months old, she met an accident. She fell from a cot, and due to which her head was damaged, and which causes damage in her brain, and due to which she remained a backward child, and therefore she became to be known as Bholi the simpleton. Now simpleton, what is the meaning of simpleton? Simpleton, it means a foolish person, as some of the part of her brain was damaged and therefore perhaps her growth was a little bit lagging behind. She was not able to learn things properly. She became a little bit abnormal child, and therefore the people named her Bholi. And her father was a Numbardar. Now what is Numbardar? Numbardar is the revenue official who collect revenue of particular village. His name is Ramlal, and she was the fourth daughter of Ramlal. At birth, the child was very fair and pretty, but when she was 2 years old, she had an attack of smallpox. Only the eyes were saved, but the entire body was permanently disfigured by deep black pock marks. Little Sulekha could not speak till she was 5, and when at last she learned to speak, she stammered. The other children often made fun of her and mimicked. As a result, she talked very little. So it is being said, as we see, that this little child Sulekha, who is known as Bholi, she meets numerous misfortune welcomes her after she has taken birth. First of all, she made an accident. She fell off a cot, which as a result damaged her brain. Secondly, it is being said that as a child she was very fair and pretty, but there was a smallpox. There was an attack of smallpox, and due to which her entire body was disfigured. There was pock marks throughout her body. Only her eyes were saved. And another misfortune, that was she was not able to speak until she was 5 years old. So she started speaking very late at the age of 5 years, and even when she started speaking in a stammering manner. Stammer is to speak with involuntarily pause. So she used to stumble while speaking, she used to stutter while speaking, and therefore other children used to mimic her, they used to imitate her, they used to make fun of her, and therefore she spoke very little. So these are the misfortunes which she met since she took birth. Ramlal had 7 children, 3 sons and 4 daughters, and the youngest of them was Bholi. It was a prosperous farmer's household and there was plenty to eat and drink. All the children except Bholi were healthy and strong. The son had been sent to the city to study in school and later in colleges. Of the daughters, Radha, the eldest, had already been married. The second daughter, Mangla's marriage, had also been settled, and when that was done, Ramlal would think of third, Champa. They were good looking, healthy girls, and it was not difficult to find bridegrooms for them. So now the family composition, the members of the family is being discussed in this paragraph. That is Ramlal, he had 7 children, 3 sons and 4 daughters. And all the children were quite healthy and strong except this girl, Bholi. So this girl was timid, she was weak, she was not healthy and strong. And it is being said the family of Ramlal, he was quite prosperous farmer, he was a wealthy man, and therefore there was no dearth, no scarcity of food in his family. Now his daughter is being discussed. The eldest daughter is Radha, she is already married, and the second one is Mangla's. Mangla's, her marriage has been settled, and once when she will be married, Ramlal will think about Champa. So all these 3 girls, Radha, Mangla and Champa, they were beautiful looking, they were pretty looking, and therefore it was not difficult task for him to find them a suitable bridegrooms for them. So it was easy task for them. For Ramlal. But Ramlal was worried about Bholi. She had neither good looks nor intelligence. Bholi was 7 years old when Mangla was married. The same year a primary school for girls was opened in their village. The Tehsildar Sahab came to perform its opening ceremony. He said to Ramlal, as a revenue official, you are the representative of the government in the village, and so you must set an example to the villagers. You must send your daughters to a school. So now it is being said that Ramlal, he was not worried about her 3 elder daughters because they were good looking, they were healthy and strong, and therefore it was easy for him to find bridegrooms for them. But the youngest daughter, that is Bholi, she was not good looking, she had pockmarks throughout her body, and she was even slow learner, she was not intelligent, and therefore it was a challenge for him to get her married. So it is being said that Mangla, who is the second daughter of Ramlal, she got married when Bholi was 7 years old, and the same year what happened, a primary school was opened in her village, and that school was inaugurated by Tehsildar. And he said to Ramlal that as you are a revenue official of this village, you are a government representative, and therefore you must set an example by sending your daughter to a school, as that school was especially being opened for girl children only. So therefore he asked him to set an example by sending his daughter to a school. That night when Ramlal consulted his wife, he cried, "Are you crazy? If girls go to school, who will marry them?" But Ramlal had not the courage to disobey the Tehsildar. At last his wife said, "I will tell you what to do. Send Bholi to school, as it is there a little chance of her getting married. With her ugly face and lack of sense. Let the teachers at the school worry about her." So Ramlal was given an order by Tehsildar, who is his boss, who is his senior at office, and therefore he could not deny his order, he can't go against his order. He had to send his daughter to school, and therefore he consulted his wife, and his wife, she became angry. She said that, are you mad? If you will send daughter to a school, then no one is going to marry her. Then she said to Ramlal that you can send Bholi to a school as she is not good looking and there is no chance of her getting married, as she have ugly face and she don't have any sense, she is not intelligent and therefore there is a little chance that she will get married, so it's better to send Bholi to a school. And then she added that let teachers worry about her. The next day Ramlal caught Bholi by the hand and said, come with me, I will take you to a school. Bholi was frightened. She did not know what a school was like. She remembered how a few days ago their old cow Lakshmi had been turned out of the house and sold. No, 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 she shouted in terror and pulled her hand away from her father's grave. So now what happened? Next day, her father Ramlal, Bholi's father, he holded hand of Bholi and he said her to come with him. He was taking her to a school. But Bholi was totally frightened. She was afraid because she had never seen a school before that. She don't know that what a school was. But she could remember a cow being sold. A cow which belongs to them. And the name of the cow was Lakshmi. That cow was taken away from the house and was sold. So she gets reminded of that scene only, that it may be that they are taking her to be sold in the market. And therefore she was not willing to go and she was shouting and she was trying her best to get her hand free from her father's grip. What's the matter with you, fool? Shouted Ramlal. I am only taking you to school. Then he told his wife, let her wear some decent clothes today, or else what will the teachers and other schoolgirls think of us when they see her? New clothes had never been made for Bholi. The old dresses of her sisters were passed on to her. No one cared to mend or wash her clothes. But today she was lucky to receive clean dress, which was shrunk after many washing and did not fit Champa. She was even bathed and oil was rubbed in her dry and matted hair. Only then did she begin to believe that she was being taken to a place better than home. So in this paragraph you can see that what sort of luxury she was enjoying at her home. In the previous paragraph it is being said that when she was asked to get ready for a school, she get reminded of her cow which was sold. So she was comparing herself with the animal of her house. It shows that how she was treated and how she was kept at her home. Then her father said to her mother that give some decent clean clothes to Bholi to wear it, otherwise the people will think that he does not take care of her daughter. So that day she was given a clean clothes, not a new clothes, as it is being said that new clothes were never bought for Bholi. So she used to wear the handed down clothes of her sisters, of her elder sisters. So the clothes which did not fitted Champa, her elder sister, that clothes were passed down to her and she used to wear that clothes only. So now her mother was getting her ready for the school. I think it is being given that she was even bathed and oil was rubbed into her dry and matted hair. It means before that they never bothered about her look, about her hairs, about her bathing, about her clothes. So today she is being bathed, her hair is being rubbed with oil, and the matted it means the tangled hairs. The hair was not kept properly before, and today it is being combed, and this gave her a realization that she is going to some place which is better than her home. So what sort of feelings she had for her home, you can realize from this, that she felt that there is some place which is better than her home. But for everyone, home used to be the best place, but for this girl, some other place is better than her home, because she was never cared, her parents never cared for her before, and today they are taking care of her, they are dressing her properly, they are bathing her, they are oiling her head, and this gave her a feeling that she is being perhaps taken to a better place. When they reached the school, the children were already in their classrooms. Ramlal handed over his daughter to the headmistress. Left alone, the poor girl looked about her with fear-laden eyes. There were several rooms, and in each room girls like her squatted on mats, reading from books or writing on slates. The headmistress asked Bholi to sit down in a corner in one of the classrooms. So now she was ready to go to school. Her father took her to school, and when she went there, she saw that there were a number of children sitting in different rooms. They were working, they were reading out of books, or they were writing something on a slate. And there Ramlal handed over her daughter to the headmistress of that school. And the teacher asked her to sit down in one of the corner of one of the classrooms. Bholi did not know what exactly a school was like and what happened there, but she was glad to find so many girls almost of her own age present there. She hoped that one of these girls might become her friend. The lady teacher who was in the class was saying something to the girls, but Bholi could understand nothing. She looked at the pictures on the wall. The color fascinated her. The horse was brown, just like the horse on which the Sildar had come to visit their village. The goat was black, like the goat of her neighbors. The parrot was green, like the parrot she had seen in the mango orchard. And the cow was just like their Lakshmi. And suddenly Bholi noticed that the teacher was standing by her side, smiling at her. "What's your name, little one?" So now Bholi, she had never visited school before that, and therefore when she went over there, she became happy. She was happy to attend school because she saw that there were number of children, number of girls of her own age, and therefore she thought that perhaps some or other girls of those who were present at the school will definitely become her friend. So she was happy to think about this prospect. So a lady teacher was present in a classroom, and she was teaching to the girls sitting in that classroom, but this girl Bholi, she was not able to understand what the teacher was teaching and what she was speaking to the students. But she was attracted toward the pictures which was hanging over the wall. She saw the picture of horse, goat, parrot and cow, and many more pictures which was there on the wall, and all those things fascinated her. She was lost in watching, she was lost in looking at those pictures which was quite colorful hanging upon the walls. And while she was looking at those pictures, she suddenly saw that her teacher was standing beside her, and she was looking at her with a smiling face, and she asked her, "What's your name?" So the teacher asked her name. Wo. She could stammer no further than that. Then she began to cry, and tears flowed from her eyes. In a helpless flood, she kept her head down as she sat in her corner, not daring to look up at the girls who she knew were still laughing at her. When the school bell rang, all the girls scurried out of the classroom. But Bholi did not leave her corner, her head still lowered, she kept on sobbing. So, when her teacher asked her name, as it was her first day at school, she had never spoken to anyone out of her home, she had never been out of her home, and therefore she was not able to say her complete name to her teacher. She stammered, she stumbled, and she was not able to speak out her complete name to that teacher. And she started crying. Tears started rolling out of her eyes, and she cried continuously. So during lunch hour, all the girls who were sitting in that room, they went out of the classroom. Scurried, it means move hurriedly. So when it was a time of lunch, all the girls left that room, but she was sitting in the room only. Sorry, it's not given that whether it was lunch time or it was a dispersal time. It is given that when the school bell rang. So all the girls left the room, but she was still living in one of the corner of that room. Her head was lowered and she was still crying, she was still weeping. Bholi, the teacher's voice was so soft and soothing. In all her life she had never been called like that. It touched her heart. Get up, said the teacher. It was not a command, but just a friendly suggestion. Bholi got up. Now tell me your name. So now while she was sobbing, while she was crying, the other student has already left the classroom. She heard her name being called by her teacher, and she spoke to her in a very soft, very calm manner. And it is being said that no one spoke to her like that before. So it touched her heart, she was touched, and then the teacher asked her to get up, and that was not a sort of command, but it was in a very soft manner. The sound was quite soft, it was a friendly suggestion. And then she asked the name of that girl. And then the teacher said, now you tell me your name. Sweat broke out over her whole body. Would her stammering tongue again disgrace her for the sake of this kind woman? However, she decided to make an effort. She had such a soothing voice, she could not laugh at her. Wo, she began to stammer. Well done, the teacher encouraged her. Come on now, the full name. Bholi. At last she was able to say it and felt relieved as if it was a great achievement. Well done. The teacher patted her affectionately and said, put the fear out of your heart and you will be able to speak like everyone else. Bholi looked up as if to ask, really? Yes, it will be very easy. Just come to school every day. Will you come? Bholi nodded. So now, when she was asked when her name was asked, this little girl, she grew afraid. She was quite afraid, and out of fear, she was sweating a lot. And then again the teacher asked her name, and the voice of teacher was quite soothing and calm. She spoke to her in a very polite manner. No one had ever spoken to her in such a polite manner. Therefore, she thought to herself that she will not displease that lady, because she was speaking to her in a very kind manner and no one before has spoken to her in such a manner. And therefore, she was going to try to say her name to that teacher. Then she tried, but she was unsuccessful. But the teacher encouraged her. She said her that, well done, try again, you will be able to say your complete name. And then again she tried and she was able to complete her complete name, and this time she said her full name. And then the teacher appreciated her and she patted her affectionately and said that You need to put out your fear from your heart. She said that don't be afraid, put out the fear out of your heart and you will be able to speak like other people, like other students of your age. So she looked up at her teacher as if she were asking that is it really that she will be able to speak without stammering like other children of her age? And then the teacher said that yes, really, definitely you will be able to speak. Then she said that just come to school every day and very soon you will be able to speak fluently. And then she asked that whether she is going to come or not. Then the Bholi nodded. She said that yes, she is going to come to school. It aloud. Yes. And Bholi herself was astonished that she had been able to say it. Didn't I tell you? Now take this book. The book was full of nice pictures and the pictures were in color: dog, cat, goat, horse, parrot, tiger and a cow, just like Lakshmi, and with every picture was a word in a big letters. So now the teacher asked her that whether she is going to come to school every day or not, and then she replied yes, and for the first time she was able to speak successfully. And even she was herself surprised at how she was able to speak. At one go, in first attempt only, she completed the complete word. And the teacher encouraged her and she said that I told you that you will be able to speak, and she gave her a book which was full of pictures of different animals. In 1 month you will be able to read this book, then I will give you a bigger book, then a still bigger one. In time you will be more learned than anyone else in the village. Then no one will ever be able to laugh at you. People will listen to you with respect and you will be able to speak without the slightest stammer. Understand? Now go home and come back early tomorrow morning. So it was dispersal time as other children has already left. And then the teacher, she gave her a book and then she said to her that in a month she will be able to read that book, and once she will be able to read that book, she will give her another book, a bigger one. And then she said that once you will be educated, once you will be a learned person, no one will laugh at you and people will start listening at you. So people will respect you, people will listen you, and even you will be able to speak without stammering. And then she said that now go back to your home and come tomorrow early morning. Bholi felt as if suddenly all the bells in the village temple were ringing and the trees in front of a schoolhouse had blossomed into big red flowers. Her heart was throbbing with a new hope and a new life. So at the time of dispersal, when she was leaving the school, she was very much happy because for the first time anyone has spoken to her in such a polite manner, and for the first time she was able to speak the word, she was able to pronounce a word in a first go, and therefore she was very happy. The word of the teacher has encouraged her, and she was now thinking about the new life, the new hope which the teacher has given her. Thus the year passed. The village became a small town. The little primary school became a high school. There were now a cinema under a tin shed and cotton ginning mill. The mail train began to stop at their railway station. One night after dinner, Ramlal said to his wife, "Then shall I accept Visambar's proposal?" "Yes, certainly, his wife said. Bholi will be lucky to get such a well-to-do bridegroom. A big shop, a house of his own, and I hear several thousands in the bank. Moreover, he is not asking for any dowry." "That's right, but he is not so young. You know, almost the same age as I am. And he also limps. Moreover, the children from his first wife are quite grown up. So now the girl now has started attending the school, and the years passed on. She has now grown up, and now one night Ramlal, her father of Bholi, he was talking to his wife. They have received a marriage proposal for Bholi, and the name of that bridegroom was Bisambar. He asked to her mother that whether he should accept the proposal of Bisambar for Bholi or not. Then she said that definitely he should accept it, because he belongs to a quite well-to-do family. He had a big shop, he has a big house of his own, and he had several thousand in bank. So he was a well-to-do, and he was not even asking for any dowry. And therefore her mother said to Ramlal that he should definitely accept that proposal. So Bholi's mother was willing to get her married to Bisambar's. Then her father Ramlal said to his wife, but he is not young. Ramlal said it to his wife that man Bisambar, he was almost of his own age. It means she was going to marry a man who is of her father's age, and that too he also limps. It means he was not able to walk properly. And he said that he was already married, and the children from his first marriage was already grown up. So she will be going to be the second wife of Bisambar, and that too he is a very grown up man. It means he is going to marry a man who is just as his father, just his father's age. So what does it matter? His wife replied, 45 or 50, it is no great age for man. We are lucky that he is from another village and does not know about her pockmarks and her lack of sense. If we don't accept this proposal, she may remain unmarried all her life. Yes, but I wonder what Bholi will say. What will that witless one say? Says like a dumb cow. Maybe you are right, muttered Ramlal. In the other corner of courtyard, Bholi lay awake on her cot, listening to her parents' whispered conversation. So, when Ramlal said to his wife that the man was of his age, he was around 45 or 50, then his wife said that it doesn't matter. That 45 or 50 is not a great age or not a big age for a man. And she added that we are quite lucky that we have got a proposal of that man Bisambar, as he was from another village and he don't know about the pockmarks, and that the girl is not intelligent, and therefore he has sent the proposal, and therefore she said that definitely without denying, without delaying, we should accept this proposal, otherwise she will be unmarried throughout her life. His father was little bit considerate about his daughter, but his mother, she was not. Again he said that what Bholi will say about that marriage, about that proposal. Then her mother says, what that witless means foolish, what that foolish girl will say about it. And Bholi, she was present in the courtyard only, and she was listening to all those conversations which her mother and father was discussing. Bisambar Nath was a well-to-do grocer. He came with a big party of friends and relations with him for wedding. As a brass band playing a popular tune from an Indian film headed the procession, with the bridegroom riding on decorated horse, Ramlal was overjoyed to see such pomp and splendor. He had never dreamed that his fourth daughter would have such a grand wedding. Voli's elder sister, who had come for the occasion, were envious of her luck. When the auspicious moment came, the priest said, "Bring the bride." Voli, clad in red silken bridal dress, was led to the bride's place near the sacred fire. Garland, the bride, one of his friends, prompted Bisambarnath. So the marriage was finalized. Bisambar, he was a well-to-do grocer. Financially, he was strong. He had a good income. And on the day of marriage, he came with a bride, with a procession. And it was of great pomp and show. It was quite grand and magnificent. And Ramlal, he was very much happy because he had never thought that her daughter, her fourth daughter, to whom he regarded that says the first one, he had never thought that she will be getting married with such a great pomp and show. And therefore he was very much happy. And her elder sister, even they were there on that occasion, they were very much jealous to see the pomp and show which was there at her marriage, on the occasion of her marriage. And after that, marriage was being sermonized, and the priest asked the bride to come to the sacred fire, the place where the marriage was to be sermonized. So Voli, she came, she was dressed in a red silken bride dress. The bridegroom lifted the garland of yellow marigolds. A woman slipped back the silken veil from the bride's face. Bisambar took a quick glance. The garland remained poised in his hand. The bride slowly pulled down the veil over her face. "Have you seen her?" said Bisambar to the friend next to him. "She has pock marks on her face." "So what? You are not young either." "Maybe, but if I am to marry her, her father must give me 5,000 rupees. Ramlal went and placed his turban, his honor, at Bisambar's feet. "Do not humiliate me. Take 2,000 rupees. No, 5,000, or we go back. Keep your daughter." So now it was the moment, it was the time to exchange garland. Marriage was to be sermonized. And at the moment, while the bridegroom was about to garland the bride, at that moment only someone slipped down the veil. Veil is the cloth which was there on the face of bride, the clothes which is used to cover the face, which is used to hide the face. So someone slipped down that veil which was there on the face of Bholi. And Bisambar was able to take a quick look over the face of Bholi, and he found that pock marks which was there on the face of Bholi. And then he said to one of his friends that I am not going to marry her as she have pock mark over her face, and therefore he is not going to marry her. And if he will marry that girl, he will take 5,000 rupees from her father. Then his friend, the friend of Bisambar, he said to him that even you are not young, even you are quite old, you are grown up, you are around 45 or 50, then what do you expect? Then he said that no matter whatever I am, whatever age I am, but if I am to marry this girl, I want 5,000 rupees. So now Ramlal, his honor, his respect, his status was at stake, was at risk. He pleaded, he requested Bisambar to take 2,000 rupees and to marry his daughter. But he was reluctant. He said that no, I want 5,000 only. If you will not give, then I will go back and keep your daughter. I am not going to marry your daughter. Be a little considerate, please. If you go back, I can never show my face in the village, then out with 5,000. Tears streaming down his face, Ramlal went in, opened the safe and counted out the notes. He placed the bundle at bridegroom's feet. On December's greedy face appeared a triumphant smile. He had gambled and won. Give me the garland, he announced. Once again the veil was slipped back from the bride's face, but this time her eyes was not downcast. She was looking up, looking straight at her prospective husband, and in her eyes there was neither anger nor hate, only cold contempt. So Ramlal pleaded to Bisambar to take 2,000 rupees, but he was reluctant. He asked for 5,000 only, and then Ramlal, he was weeping, he was crying, tears was coming out of his eyes. He went inside his home, he took out 5,000 rupees from his safe and he placed it at Bisambar's feet. Now Bisambar, he was very much happy as he has received 5,000 rupees and he has won that battle. And now once again, when he was about to garland Bholi, someone slipped down the veil once again. But this time, instead of veiling her face once again, instead of covering her face, she looked straight into the eye of Bisambar. She was not downcast, it means she was not looking downward, she was not shameful. This time she was quite confident and she was continuously looking at Bisambar. And she was there was a sense of contempt in her eyes. She was neither angry, she was neither afraid. She had a calm and composed look at Bisambar. Bisambar raised the garland to place it round the bride's neck, but before he could do so, Bholi's hand struck out like a streak of lightning, and the garland was flung into the fire. She got up and threw away the veil. Pitaji, said Bholi in clear loud voice, and her father, mother, sisters, brother and relation and neighbors were startled to hear her speak without even a slightest stammer. Pitaji, take back your money. I am not going to marry this man. Ramlal was thunderstruck. The guest began to whisper, so shameless, so ugly and so shameless. So now, when Bisambar was about to place the garland around the neck of Bholi, what she did, with a sudden movement of her hand, she threw the garland which was there in Bisambar's hand, and see that the garland, it fell into the fire. And then she threw the veil which was there on her head, and then she shouted in a very clear voice, and everyone was surprised. Startled, it means surprised. Everyone was surprised to hear her speak without stammering. And then she said to her father that, take your money back, I am not going to marry this man. Ramlal, he was totally surprised, he was not able to understand what to do, and the other people who were present over there, they were whispering, they were talking to one another in a slow voice, and they were commenting upon Bholi, they were referring her as a shameless, ugly and shameless. Bholi, are you crazy? Shouted Ramlal. You want to disgrace your family? Have some regard for my ijjat. For the sake of your ijjat, said Bholi, I was willing to marry this lame old man. But I will not have such a mean, greedy and contemptible coward as my husband. I won't. Then Ramlal, he started pleading to his daughter. He said that, please, for my sake, for my status, for the sake of my status and prestige which I have in this village, don't do this. Then she said that only because of your ijat, ijat is here Hindi word, that is the respect in English. She said that only because of your respect only I was willing to marry this lame old man. But she said that I am willing to marry a lame old man, but I can't marry a mean, greedy and contemptible man. Contemptible, it means mean man and coward. So she said, she referred him as a mean, greedy, coward man, and she said that I can't have this sort of man as my husband, and she said, I won't, I won't, I won't. What a shameless girl! We all thought she was harmless dumb cow. Bholi turned violently on the old woman. Yes, auntie, you are right. You all thought I was a dumb driven cow. That's why you wanted to hand me over to this heartless creature. But now, dumb cow, the stammering fool is speaking. Do you want to hear more? So one of the old women who was present over there, she referred her as a shameless girl, and she said that they have thought her as a harmless dumb cow, but she is quite shameless. Then she was in anger, in rage, she turned toward that old woman and she said that yes, you thought me to be a dumb driven cow, and that's why you are handing me over, you are marrying me to a man who is heartless creature. And do you want to hear anything more? Then please tell, I can speak. December now, the grocer started to go back with his party. The confused bandsmen thought this was the end of ceremony and struck up a closing song. Ramlal stood rooted to the ground, his head bowed low with the weight of grief and sin. The flames of sacred fire slowly died down. Everyone was gone. Ramlal turned to Bholi and said, but what about you? No one will ever marry you now. What shall we do with you? And Sulekha said in voice that was calm and steady, don't you worry, Pitaji. In your old age, I will serve you and mother, and I will teach in the same school where I learned so much. Isn't that, ma'am? So, as the procession has left Visambarnath, he has left the place, and at that point, the bandsman who was present over there playing different music, they thought that it was a end of the marriage, and therefore they started playing the closing song of marriage ceremony. Now Ramlal, he was grieved, he was sorrowful, he was unhappy, his head was down. When everyone was gone, he asked to Bholi that now what she will do if she will not get married. And he said that what I will do with you. Then she said in a very calm manner that don't worry, Pitaji, when you will grow up, when you will be in your old age, at that time I will serve, I will take care of you as well as of mother. And she said that she will teach in the school where she has learned so much. And her teacher was already present over there. She asked it to her teacher that isn't that, ma'am? The teacher had all along stood in a corner watching the drama. Yes, Bholi, of course, she replied, and in her smiling eyes was the light of deep satisfaction that an artist feels when contemplating the completion of her masterpiece. So her teacher, throughout that drama which was going on, she was standing all the time. She was mum, she was quiet, she was just observing it. And she replied to Bholi that yes, of course, you can be teacher in our school. And while she was replying, there was a smile in her eyes, which shows that she has been a successful teacher. She has been able to teach her the right thing. And the teacher here has been compared to an artist who feel quite satisfied while looking at the masterpiece painting after his completion. So similarly over here, that teacher, she was looking at that girl as if it was her masterpiece, and she had stood up. She had stood up right in the same manner what she has been taught. So this is all about this story. This is how we saw that education and that teacher changed the life of Bholi. Thank you.